thank you so much for writing me back and volunteering. Um, had the pleasure now of talking to a couple folks from the student user group. So
Okay.
that's awesome. Tell me, where are you from?
I'm originally from Texas, San Antonio, but I haven't lived there in a very, very long time.
Oh, where are you at now?
I'm in Sacramento, California.
Oh, cool. All right. And I guess
Mhm.
that brings us to what I wanted to ask. I saw that you were in the Inteligenca. Was that the 100 Woman, 100 Days program? Or was that the
It was something very similar. It was it was the one that they tweaked for the people during COVID.
So is it Sacramento Cares or what is it called presently?
Yes, it was a Sacramento Cares program.
So you were involved with the Sacramento Cares program with Carmen Marsh. Was that taught by Phase 2 Advantage? Was that Michael Kaplan involved in that?
Yes, so the Aries section of that was taught by Michael.
Can you tell me about your experience in that program? What was
It was awesome. It was really great. Michael, as an instructor, I wish I could take every class with Michael. If I could, that'd be like a dream. He's so knowledgeable and informative, and he has infinite amount of patience, and he explains things in such a way that you get it almost immediately. And it was just a really great pleasure to have him as an instructor.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's a great guy, great
Mhm.
teacher. I get to sit in on some of his classes from time to time, and I learn a lot, right?
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that's awesome.
So what were you studying? Was this a certificate program, or what was the Sacramento Cares course about?
Um, I was in the prep class that they were doing for the ITF, the fundamental certification,
Mhm.
and Project Aries was part of that supplement for the ITF.
Excellent.
Mhm.
So were you pretty seasoned with cybersecurity and computer sciences before starting this program?
No, I hadn't done anything with cybersecurity or computer sciences at all. I got into the SacCARES program because I was looking for a change, and I had to quit my job during COVID, and I was just at home. And I
Mhm.
thought it was like the perfect opportunity to learn something new, learn a new skill set that I could use moving forward.
That's wonderful. I know COVID was a catalyst for a lot of things, you know.
Yes,
It gave a lot of folks opportunities to make some positive changes. I think that's awesome that you took that crisis and made it into an opportunity. So you didn't have a lot of cybersecurity experience. How did you
zero.
hear Sacramento Cares?
It's funny. I saw it in the news. I was just scrolling and saw a news article about how Sacramento was using the supplements that were being given to different cities throughout COVID, all those the funds, and they're putting it through job training programs. And I had applied for a different program, and they said that they were full. I had asked too late, and they actually recommended Carmen's program instead. And so I applied for that one and was accepted for it.
Fantastic. So that's neat. Just watching the local news and then Carmen pops up on the TV.
Yeah, it was like a news article on the phone. Yeah.
All right, we have the phone, not so much the local news anymore, right? When you were in the program, you said you used some project areas to supplement your studies. What were you using inside of project areas? What was the focus?
We were using the Battle Room 9, I believe it was, learning how to use Wireshark
So the
to do
forensic,
some forensic. Mhm.
awesome. What did you think of it?
It was challenging. It was challenging in a way because I barely knew, I mean, I can use a computer fairly well. Everybody can use theirs day to day. And I
Mhm.
learned quite a bit in my fundamentals class, but that's exactly what it is. It's a fundamentals of a computer, of computer, of a little bit of networking, a little bit of this and that.
Mhm.
And that class to me at the time felt very advanced.
Sure.
It was very challenging, but the tools they gave us and Michael making himself available for questions on Slack and things like that made it a way to work through it and learn a ton. Mhm.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Wireshark and particularly Battle Room 9 can be very challenging. So
Absolutely.
did you feel more comfortable with Wireshark by the end of the battle room?
I did. I felt like I had a grasp on, the way it works and, what you can do with it. I haven't had an opportunity to use it since, but I still think I could, like, if somebody asked me a question, I might be able to answer it pretty well.
Qualifications and everything. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So I'm learning how to use it myself. It's a complex tool. There's always, I think, more insight that we can draw when we start to really analyze those things. So what kind of work were you doing before COVID when you decided to make a switch?
I was a wine buyer at the local co-op.
Oh,
I've
cool.
always been involved in the wine industry in some form or another before this.
That's wonderful. I
Mhm.
love drinking wines, and I think co-ops can be a lot of fun because they have a lot of the local ones, and so I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. And the co-op here is pretty big. It's like takes up almost a whole city block.
Wow,
So the department was really fun to work with and bring in some really cool stuff. And we also are in an area of California that has really amazing access to local growers for sure.
that's wonderful. So, did you get to make any transitions to new jobs or anything like that?
Not yet. I actually have been unemployed this entire time. I actually starting a new job next week on Monday. And that's why this week has been so crazy hectic. That's why I'm sorry. I was like, I can't meet before 4:30.
I'm glad you made time for me. This is a hectic time, so thank you.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you for inquiring, being flexible. So I can't say that the job I'm going into now is a reflection of my studies. I'm actually still studying for different programs. Just finished a Linux class, and right now I'm in a web development class, and I'm also studying for my Security Plus certification. So it's a lot of skill building, and so I don't have the job yet that I can use those in, but I'm working towards it still. Like it's still a goal.
That's very positive. So, I mean, we don't all land on our dream job. It takes a long time, a lot of hard work. Just keep
Mhm.
pushing. It sounds like you've not only gained some insight from this one class, you've pursued other classes. For some people I talk to, being a student is their dream. I mean,
That would be nice if I could get paid to be a student.
I agree. I might sign up too. So you're working your way towards something in the future. What would be your dream job in cybersecurity if you had a choice?
I can't give you a specific answer to that. Since that class, the reason I've taken so many different random classes is I'm trying to kind of find my fit of where I might be like what might be the best reflection of who I am, what I can do, and
Hmm.
what I'm passionate about. I was just having a meeting with one of my mentors for the program I'm in right now before this one. And we were just talking. He's like, you need to find your path, you need to find your passion and find like what you really want to do, and then decide what the job is that's going to reflect that.
Absolutely.
So after speaking with him, we decided that my next step should be taking a prep course for my network certification so that will give me a really good basis for whatever job I want to get into. Because he's like, you have a good amount of work time in your career. Like you have 10 plus years of work experience that a lot of new kids coming up, I'm an older student, but a
I
lot of
was
new
too.
kids coming up, yeah, don't have. And so that'll be to your advantage. So long story short, I don't know yet.
Okay. Okay, not to know. What I always thought was amazing in the educational system is they're asking 18-year-olds what they'd like to do with the rest of their lives.
It makes no sense.
It's
I mean, kudos to those who actually have an answer.
Absolutely, but I think a lot of folks don't, and I think statistics show that most people change their career paths 3, sometimes 4 times. I think,
Yeah.
our generation, millennials and Gen Y even more, right? So you don't have to
Hmm.
know right
Hmm.
away. Kudos to you for knowing that you do want to find something else, right? That's important too, knowing that this isn't what you wanted to land on, trying something new. It takes courage.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I agree with you and thank you. But I also think that, the world around us is changing so drastically and so quickly that if you don't have a pretty good working knowledge of how to navigate your way through the internet, through a computer, through certain systems, softwares, applications, you're going to get left behind, I think.
mhm,
And, I really wanted to take this opportunity of this downtime to get the skills that I can use to keep moving forward, to know that I'm going to have job security. I think that's very important now. And I had to take advantage of the time that I had for sure.
I agree. I think it's a great decision. Was there something in particular that was inspiring for you about cybersecurity? Was there something that compelled you for that in particular?
I didn't know a lot about it before joining the first program I was in with Inteligenca. Everybody's like seen the movie Hackers or whatever. They have like this idea, right?
Right.
But once you get into it and you start learning about what it actually means and what is actually going on in the background of our everyday lives on the internet and what people are doing, it's pretty scary.
Hmm.
And, I think it's important that people have at least a little bit of knowledge of like what's going on so they can protect themselves. And you have to think about elderly generations that have zero idea what's going on. And there's nobody there to sit there and be like, you need to do this and you need to do that. You just do this to protect yourself. So I think it's important that there's people in this field who are providing that without them even knowing,
Yes.
like providing that layer of security of keeping authentications and like, passwords and like making sure all of that is secure when they're shopping online or on their phone or whatever they're doing
Hmm.
that they're not thinking about, but somebody else is, right? And I think
Correct.
that's really, really important. And without it, it would just be chaos. I mean, it's
Yeah.
already chaos, but at least it's a somewhat we think it's controlled chaos.
Right. Well, there's lots of folks that haven't realized that they've been compromised yet. And
Hmm.
the people who are compromised and know are in the minority, right? So
Yeah. Hmm.
it's important that somebody picks up the mantle and decides, I'm going to learn how to protect our very precious network data infrastructure,
Hmm.
right?
It's
So
so important. It's like I think it should be like a common knowledge, like a common class people should be taking at some point of just like the basics of like how to protect yourself and your information. You know.
absolutely. And it's funny, corporations have some, lessons that they'll do. Don't open these spam emails, change
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
passwords frequently, all of which are important. But most people are getting that as a quick HR lesson at work and education in schools. And that's really a pity. I think a lot of countries are having folks study cybersecurity and computer sciences early and often. And the US is sort of playing catch up right now. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Hmm.
we've got a long way to go there. With that being said, is there anything that, since you're a non traditional student who decided to follow your dream to study cybersecurity later on, what words of advice would you give to someone who wanted to study cybersecurity but might just be on the fence or nervous about taking the leap?
I think they should find somebody they know or find a community they can or like a website or a forum that they can start asking questions. I think that's a good step in just getting some relative information because one of the most awesome things I found about the cybersecurity and tech community is that people are so willing to help. If you have a question, they like jump on it with not just because like, oh yeah, here's an article. They'll give you like 5 articles and 4 people on Twitter to check out, and like, oh, you should talk to. So like, they give you a ton of information, and they're so welcoming and so nice about it. And that's something I've never experienced in another professional community that I've been in to the extent that I have since I've been in this community and the people I've met through it. They are just so willing to be as helpful as they possibly can.
So, community amongst the cybersecurity and tech professionals.
Absolutely.
I like that a lot. That's very cool.
It is
So,
very cool. And I think it's very important, especially these days where people are like, what do I do? How do I do it? Who do I trust? Start small and start asking questions with people that you trust and then move out in bigger circles.
awesome. That's great advice. So, you're in the student user group right now. Have you
Hmm.
had a chance to get involved with new content since being in that group? Other
Yeah, I play the games that they have on there, and in my mind, I finished the new battle room. It won't give me credit for one of the little
which
challenges, even
one is
though I did it.
the new,
But
which one is it?
the Linux battle room, I think it's battle room
Oh,
6.
yeah, PR6. Yes,
Yeah.
okay. I like that one.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, it was fun to see what I could remember from my Linux classes I took a few weeks ago, and I kind of haven't really messed with it since then. So it was fun to see what I could remember, and then using the tips. I like it because I like some of the changes that have been made. I think it's a little bit more user friendly, especially for people like me who might not have a clue of like what some of that stuff is and like how to get to that end result. I like that it's a little bit more helpful now. I think it's a little bit more friendly.
So you think the hint material and the additional, I guess, ancillary things are helping students pick up some of the slack in the learning process? Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, and which mini game do you like? Is there one in particular?
I kind of like them all for different reasons. I like the Jeopardy style one.
Nice. Trivia Loop, one of my
And yeah,
yeah.
Trivia Loop. And I also like the what is it? The one with the robots. You have to like type in the answer.
Hold on. Oh, it's oh wow, why can't I remember?
I was literally just playing it yesterday. I couldn't tell you. Roblox? No, that's something else. I made that up.
Holy cow. It's like it's Reg Exile, I think.
Yes.
Regular expressions. Yes. I had to it took me a minute. I had to it's sorry, it's been a long day. Yeah, but it's fun. They've got like the robot explosion animations. You type the text string.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but I like playing video games. So anything that kind of like represents a video game to me, I'm always going to be about it. So
Me too. But that's what's cool is you've got these games that kind of make the learning part of it exciting. So it kind of takes the edge off. You may not even realize that you're learning when you're having fun. So
right, exactly.
I like that. That's the same reason I like number munchers when I was a kid in grade school when we'd play with the old school Apple II, right? Do our math problems. And I was like, yes, this is great. So that's really fun. Well, I appreciate the time. It's been really fun because it gives me an opportunity to learn what's motivating students. And that's cool. We don't want to lose sight of that.
It's important, to show people like what's going on and what people are getting out of it.
Well, it's been so much fun talking to you, Nicole. I really appreciate your time. And
absolutely.
I hope you have a nice evening.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great night. And again, thanks for your flexibility. I appreciate it.
Thank you for making time. Appreciate it.